I want you to picture this scene. It is a scene I have heard described to me by weeping passengers more times than I care to count. You are standing at the TSA security checkpoint. You are excited about your trip to see your grandkids. Or maybe that European river cruise you've been saving for. You put your shoes in the bin. You put your carry-on the belt. And then the conveyor belt stops. A blue-shirted TSA officer, maybe someone young, tired, and in a hurry, calls out, "Whose bag is this?" You raise your hand. They pull your bag aside. They open it, and they pull out your bottle of liquid nutrition, or your specialized cough syrup, or your gel-capped supplements. The officer looks at it and says, "This is over 3.4 ounces. It's not allowed." You try to explain, "But I need that. It's my medicine. I can't get that in Italy." The officer points to the sign. "The rule is the rule, ma'am. You can go back out and check it, or we have to toss it." You don't have time to go back. You are afraid of missing your flight. So, you watch in horror as the officer tosses your $80 medication into a giant gray trash can. Thud. That sound? That isn't just the sound of wasted money. That is the sound of your health being compromised before you even board the plane. If you are over 60, medication isn't a lifestyle choice. It isn't a luxury. It is life support. It is the difference between a joy-filled vacation and a medical emergency at 30,000 feet. I am here to tell you, that officer was wrong. But because you didn't know the magic words to say, and because you didn't pack it exactly the way the federal law requires, you lost. Today, I'm going to teach you the specific script, the packing protocols, and the industry secrets that will ensure no security agent ever touches your lifeline again. If we haven't met before, hello. My name is Sophia. I have been a flight attendant for 15 years. I am your guardian of travel. I'm not TSA. I don't work for the government, but I work alongside them every single day. I know their playbook. I know their pressure points. And most importantly, I see what happens after security. I see the panic in the eyes of a senior passenger at row 12 when they realized their insulin was in the bag they were forced to gate check. I have held the hand of a passenger having a hypertensive crisis because they skipped their morning dose to avoid hassling with the security line. Travel has changed. The rules are stricter, the lines are longer, and the agents are busier. They are looking for weapons and explosives. They are not pharmacists. They do not know that your specific liquid is vital for your heart condition unless you tell them, loudly and clearly. I am here to turn you from a nervous passenger into a medical VIP. By the end of this video, you will have the confidence to breeze through that checkpoint, knowing exactly what your rights are. Let's start with the biggest misconception that seniors have. You have been trained for years to follow the 3-1-1 rule. Liquids must be in 3.4-ounce bottles, and they must all fit in one quart-size bag. So what do? You leave your large bottle of prescription mouthwash at home. You pour your specialized liquid supplements into tiny travel bottles that aren't labeled. Or worse, you just don't bring them at all. This is secret number 1. Medically necessary liquids are exempt from the 3-1-1 rule. Federal law states that you can bring a liquid medication in any quantity, 8 ounces, 12 ounces, a gallon if you need it, through the checkpoint. It does not have to go in the plastic baggie. It does not have to be under 3.4 ounces. However, there is a catch. When you transfer your medicine into those cute little travel bottles to trick the system, you are actually triggering the chemical scanners. TSA scanners use X-ray technology to look for density and chemical composition. A random liquid in an unmarked bottle looks suspicious. It looks like a threat. I want to tell you about a passenger named Mr. Abernathy. He was a type 1 diabetic. He boarded my flight from Chicago to London. About 3 hours in, he pressed the call button. He was sweating profusely. His hands were shaking. He was having a severe hypoglycemic attack. I asked him, "Sir, do you have your rescue juice or glucose gel?" He looked at me with terror in his eyes and said, "The TSA agent told me I couldn't bring the juice boxes because they were over 3 ounces. I threw them away." He threw away his medical safety net because he thought the rule was absolute. We had to enact a medical emergency protocol, raid the first-class galley for orange juice, and monitor him for an hour. It was a code blue situation that was entirely preventable. Here is exactly how you handle this next time. Keep the liquid in its original, large bottle with the pharmacy label on it. Do not transfer it. Do not put it in your carry-on bag inside the X-ray tunnel. Before you push your bin into the scanner, you look the TSA officer in the eye and say these exact words: "I have medically necessary liquids in this bin that are over 3.4 ounces. They require additional screening." They will likely take the bottle and put it in a special scanner that tests the vapor. Or they might wipe the outside for explosive residue. This takes 30 seconds. They hand it back to you. You board your plane with your full supply. Now, let's talk about those plastic Sunday, Monday, Tuesday pill organizers. I know you love them. They are convenient. They save space. You don't want to carry 15 different orange bottles in your purse, but this brings us to secret number 2. The unlabeled pill trigger. TSA requires all pills to be in original bottles. Actually, TSA technically allows pill organizers. They do not strictly require original bottles for domestic travel. But, and this is a massive but, state laws vary and international laws are very strict. Imagine this. Your bag goes through the scanner. The officer sees a large mass of organic material. They pull your bag for a manual search. They pull out your plastic organizer. Inside there are blue pills, white pills, red pills, all mixed together. No labels. Now the officer has to make a judgment call. Is this heart medication? Or is this ecstasy? Or fentanyl? If they are suspicious, they can call over a supervisor. They can swab the pills. Here is the insider secret that scares me the most. Explosive trace detectors. These are the machines they use to swab your hands or your bag. Do you use hand lotion? Or heart medication containing nitroglycerin? Many hand lotions contain glycerin. Glycerin is chemically very similar to the components found in explosives. If you just put lotion on your hands, then touched your pills to load your organizer, and the TSA swabs that organizer, alarm. I had a passenger, Mrs. Gable, a lovely grandmother. She missed her flight to her granddaughter's wedding. Why? Because she had a baggie of loose pills mixed together. She had applied heavy hand cream that morning. The swab triggered a false positive for explosives on the baggie. Because the pills were loose and unlabeled, TSA had to initiate a full law enforcement protocol. They held her for 45 minutes to verify the contents of the pills. By the time they cleared her, the doors to the plane were closed. I am not saying you can't use a pill organizer, but you must have a verification backup. Go to your pharmacist before your trip. Ask them to print a label sheet or a summary of all your current prescriptions. Fold this piece of paper and rubber band it to your pill organizer. If a TSA agent says they need to open your pill organizer and touch your medication, you have the legal right to stop them and say, "Please put on a fresh pair of gloves before you handle my medication. I have a compromised immune system. Do not let the same gloves that touched 500 dirty shoes and belts touch the pill you are going to swallow." This next secret is for my diabetics and anyone traveling with biologics that must be kept cold. This is where physics meets bureaucracy. And if you don't understand the physics, you lose your medicine. Secret number 3 is, the slush is the enemy. TSA allows ice packs to keep medicine cool. However, the rule states, if the ice pack is frozen solid, it is a solid. If it is slushy or partially melted, it is a liquid. If it is a liquid, it is subject to the 311 rule. I met a woman named Carol at the gate who was in tears. She was traveling with 3 months' supply of insulin. She had used those cheap blue gel packs you get at the pharmacy. She got stuck in traffic on the way to the airport. It was a hot day. By the time she got to security, the gel packs were soft. They were slushy. The TSA agent said, "This is a liquid gel over 3.4 ounces. I can't let it through." They threw away her cooling packs. She had to board an 8-hour flight with her insulin warming up in her purse, terrified it would spoil and become ineffective. Do not use cheap gel packs. Buy marine grade or hard shell freezer packs. They stay frozen much longer. If you are ever in a bind or at a hotel without a freezer for your gel pack, go to the hotel restaurant or a nearby store. Buy a bag of frozen peas or frozen grapes. TSA allows frozen food. Solid frozen peas are a solid. Use the peas to keep your meds cool. If they melt, you can eat them or throw them away, but they won't trigger a chemical alarm like a gel pack will. Before you leave for the airport, ensure your packs are rock hard. If they have started to sweat, put them in a Ziploc bag so the liquid doesn't show. We've talked about getting your meds through security. Now, let's talk about the biggest mistake I see exhausted seniors make. You think, "Sophia, this is too much hassle. I'll just put my pearls in my big suitcase and check it. Then I don't have to deal with TSA." Stop. You are playing Russian roulette with your health. This is secret number 4, the checked luggage danger zone. Most passengers think the cargo hold, the belly of the plane where your suitcase goes, is just like the cabin. It is not. While it is pressurized, it is not always temperature controlled in the same way. On the tarmac in Phoenix, inside that metal container, the temperature can reach 130 degrees. At cruising altitude, near the skin of the aircraft, it can drop to near freezing. Medications are chemicals. Heat breaks them down. Cold separates them. If you check your blood pressure medication and it cooks on the tarmac for an hour, you might be taking a pill that is now chemically inert. It won't work, and you won't know it until you have a stroke. The airline industry loses or mishandles approximately 7 bags for every 1,000 passengers. That sounds low, right? But if you are that one passenger and your heart medication is in that bag, you are stranded in a foreign country with zero supply. Insurance companies rarely cover the emergency replacement cost of seeing an out-of-network doctor abroad just to get a new prescription written. I worked a flight to Rome last summer. A gentleman, Mr. Rossi, was going to visit family. He checked a bag with his entire 2-week supply of blood pressure meds. His bag didn't make the connection in London. It was lost for 4 days. By day 3, the stress of the lost bag combined with the withdrawal from his medication caused a hypertensive crisis. He spent his family reunion in an Italian ER. The bag showed up on day 5. It was too late. His trip was ruined. Follow the split supply protocol. 90% of your medication stays with you in the cabin, at your feet, not in the overhead bin, but at your feet. Put a small 3-day emergency supply in your checked bag. If your carry-on is stolen or lost, you have a backup in the suitcase. But never, ever check your primary supply. Now, I want to speak to my Bionic passengers. You have a pacemaker, you have an artificial hip, or increasingly common, you are wearing a CGM or an insulin pump. The technology is amazing, but it clashes violently with TSA technology. This is secret number 5, the X-ray radiation risk. You know that metal detector you walk through? Most pacemakers are shielded against that. But the body scanner and the conveyor belt X-ray use different waves. Never put your insulin pump, your CGM receiver, or your spare pump supplies through the conveyor belt X-ray. The radiation can corrupt the software in the pump. It might not stop working. It might do something worse. It might over-deliver insulin. I had a passenger named Sheila. She was embarrassed to make a scene, so she took off her insulin pump, put it in the plastic bin, and sent it through the X-ray. She put it back on. Mid-flight, over the Atlantic, her pump malfunctioned. It dumped a massive bolus of insulin into her system because the X-ray had fried the chip's regulation logic. She passed out from severe hypoglycemia. We had to use the onboard medical kit to revive her, all because she didn't want to bother the agent. You have the right to a hand inspection. Here is the script. If you have a spare pump, hold it in your hand. Do not put it in the bin. Tell the officer, I am wearing a medical device that cannot be X-rayed. You will have to undergo a pat-down. I know, it's intrusive. It's uncomfortable. Ask for privacy. You can say, I would like a private screening, please. They must take you to a side room with a witness. Often, they will ask you to touch the device, and then they will swab your hands for explosives. This keeps their hands off your sensitive medical equipment. This next secret scares me the most because the consequence isn't a lost pill. It is jail. We live in a medicated society in the US. Drugs like Adderall, Ambien, and painkillers like tramadol or codeine are common. You have a prescription. Your name is on the bottle. You are legal. In the US, yes. In Japan, the UAE, or Singapore, you might be a drug smuggler. This is secret number 6, the border crossing trap. Japan strictly bans stimulant drugs. Adderall is illegal. It contains amphetamine. Even with a doctor's note, if you bring Adderall into Japan, you can be arrested and deported. In Dubai, codeine and tramadol are controlled substances. If you arrive without pre-approval from the Ministry of Health, you can be detained. Mexico, Sudafed is highly regulated. I didn't witness this on the plane, but I dealt with the aftermath. A senior passenger, a lovely grandfather, was transiting through Dubai. He had prescription painkillers for his bad back. They contained codeine. He didn't have the special import permit. He was pulled aside at customs. His passport was confiscated. He was detained for 3 days while the embassy tried to clear up the misunderstanding. He wasn't a criminal. He was a tourist with a bad back. But the law is the law. 2 weeks before you fly internationally, you must do the embassy check. Google Embassy Restricted Medication List. If you are unsure, email the embassy directly. I am traveling with medication. Is this permitted? If your drug is banned, ask your doctor to switch you to a permitted alternative for the trip, or leave it at home. Do not risk a foreign prison for a pill. Finally, I want to give you the ultimate insider tool. Did you know the government has a VIP service for travelers with medical conditions, and it is completely free? This is secret number 7, the TSA Cares program. Most people have never heard of this. TSA has a helpline specifically for passengers with disabilities, medical conditions, or anxiety. If you call them 72 hours before your flight, they can assign a passenger support specialist to you. This is a specially trained TSA officer. They meet you at the checkpoint. They escort you to the front of the line. They explain the screening to the other agents for you. They ensure your medical devices are handled correctly. It shifts the power dynamic. Instead of being a suspect that the agent is trying to catch, you become an assisted passenger that the agent is assigned to help. The attitude changes instantly. I recommended this to a passenger named Martha. She had early-stage Parkinson's and severe anxiety about the pat-down process because her tremors made her look nervous to security. She called TSA Cares. A specialist met her at the curb. He walked her through a private lane. He held her bag while she put her shoes back on. She told me, Sophia, for the first time in 10 years, I didn't cry at security. Save this number, 855-787-2227. Call 72 hours before your trip. Go to the TSA website and print the TSA notification card. It's a small blue card where you can write your condition. You hand this card to the officer silently. It saves you from having to shout your medical history in a crowded airport. You made it. You survived the TSA checkpoint. You used your magic words. You kept your liquids separate, and you are feeling relieved. You are walking down the jet bridge to board the plane, but you are not safe yet. You are walking into the gate check ambush. Flights today are flying at 100% capacity. The overhead bins are full by the time Group 3 boards. So, the gate agents are aggressive. They scan the line and point at passengers. Your bag is too big. We have to check it to your final destination. They are rushed. They are stressed. They grab your handle and slap a pink tag on it before you can even argue. If you followed standard advice, your medications are in your carry-on roller bag. In that split second of chaos on the jet bridge, if you hand that bag over, your medication is now going into the freezing, unpressurized, inaccessible cargo hold. Once that door closes, you cannot get it back. If you have a heart attack mid-flight, your nitroglycerin is 10 feet below you in the dark. I worked a flight from Denver to Seattle, a chaos flight, full bins. A passenger named Eleanor, 78, was forced to gate check her carry-on. She was too polite to say no. She forgot her inhaler was in the front pocket of that bag. 2 hours in, she had an asthma attack triggered by a passenger's perfume. She reached for her bag. It wasn't there. The panic set in. Panic tightens the chest. We had to use the onboard emergency oxygen and call for a medical diversion. She landed in Salt Lake City in an ambulance, not Seattle. All because she didn't have the bailout bag. You must have a medical sub-bag. Inside your main carry-on, keep all your medications in a separate, brightly colored pouch. When the gate agent says, "We need to check your bag," you do not argue. You say, "Okay, just 1 second." You unzip the main bag, grab that neon pouch, and hand the suitcase to the agent. You board the plane with the pouch in your hand or your purse. Never hand over the suitcase until the meds are physically in your hand. This final secret is for the worst case scenario. Let's say TSA does confiscate your meds because of a misunderstanding, or you drop them, or they get stolen. You think, it's okay. I'll just go to a pharmacy at my destination and pay cash for a refill. You might be walking into financial ruin. This is secret number 9, the insurance lockout. In the US, most insurance plans have strict refill too soon limits. If you just filled your 30-day supply of Eliquis last week and you lose it today, the insurance company will deny the refill claim. They will say, "You already have this supply." You will be forced to pay the cash price. Do you know what the cash price is for a 30-day supply of common brand name senior medications? Eliquis, $500. Humira, $6,000. Lyrica, $400. I had a couple, the Millers, flying to Hawaii. TSA confiscated Mr. Miller's liquid pain medication. He arrived in Honolulu in pain. He went to Walgreens. The pharmacist said, "Insurance denied it. That will be $680. He had to choose between his pain relief and his vacation food budget. He paid it, but it devastated their trip finances. Before you travel, call your insurance provider. Ask for a vacation override or a lost medication override. Tell them you are traveling and need an extra supply in advance to keep in a separate bag. If you are already at the airport and lose your meds, call the insurance company before you go to the pharmacy. Tell them the medication was lost or stolen to trigger the override code so you don't pay the full cash price. We have covered a lot of ground today. From the chemical composition of ice packs to the legal codes of Dubai, I know this feels overwhelming. But remember, knowledge is not just power, it is safety. I want to hear from you in the comments. We learn from each other. Question of the day. Have you ever had a run-in with TSA over a medical item? Did they make you throw away a water bottle? Did they harass you about your knee replacement? Or do you have a trick that I missed? Share your story below. I read every single comment, and your story might help someone else avoid a nightmare. I want to leave you with this thought. I know the world feels more complicated than it used to. I know that standing in that security line, barefoot, with people yelling at you to move faster, can feel dehumanizing. I know it makes you feel vulnerable, but you are not vulnerable. You are a traveler. You have earned every gray hair and every mile. Your medication is not a weakness. It is the fuel that allows you to keep exploring. Do not let a blue shirt and a badge intimidate you into sacrificing your health. Do not let the fear of making a scene stop you from advocating for your life. If you follow these secrets, if you separate your liquids, if you freeze your packs, if you speak the magic words, you are taking the power back. You are walking through that checkpoint not as a suspect, but as a pro. You have grandchildren to hug. You have sunsets to see. You have memories to make. Don't let a bottle of pills stand in your way. Pack smart, speak up, and travel safely. I'm Sophia, your guardian of travel. I'll see you in the sky.